BYU, Alabama. BYU is building a crazy program. I mean, for their first year coach to take them to the Sweet 16, they got the number one player in the country coming on next year who signed for $7 million. They got a big matchup taking on Alabama. Who you got, Dub?
I mean, I got Bama. Let's start about the matchup. The last game, St. Mary's, like they beat up the church kids like that. I mean, that was a given. Um, BYU is just not athletic enough, if you ask me. Like, I don't think BYU could really stay in front of Alabama's guards. And then you think about just their whole lineup. BYU tallest player is 6'8", if I'm not mistaken. And then you have Bama that has two 6'10" bigs, right? So they really need to be playing from the inside out. They don't need to shoot a whole bunch of threes. They just need to get downhill, get to the cup, get their big mans to rock, and keep playing like that and be physical. So I have a Bama moving on to the Elite Eight. I don't even think this is going to be close.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be competitive because of how well BYU shoots the ball. I think that a lot of people who are not as familiar with some of those late night West Coast games that we're accustomed to when you want to watch a team like a Colorado State or a BYU had not seen some of these teams play and didn't know, again, the organization from a basketball operations standpoint that's behind BYU. You got a former NBA coach who's coaching BYU. They're really building a program that's going to be a pipeline to the NBA. So they got some guys that can shoot the ball. They play sound basketball in terms of, again, they get the ball to the right guys at the right time. They don't turn the ball over a lot, and they play good defense. Um, I think that BYU is going to cause problems for Alabama at times. I think this game is going to go back and forth, but I think ultimately it's going to come down to guard play and experience there. And I got Mark Sears, dominant, all conference, guard for Alabama, leading them to a win and heading to the Elite Eight this weekend. All right.
And just to touch on Mark Sears, he really, to your point, he really needs to control the game. He really need to limit his shooting too. Like, he hasn't been shooting the best as well. So
Yeah.
again, if they can really play inside out, that's going to prevent BYU shooting all these threes, and if they can be physical, I don't think it's going to be close. I
Yeah.
just be close.
Yeah, I think it's going to be semi close. We'll get into the Duke Arizona game in a minute. I think that's going to be the game that's probably the largest deficit. Outside of that, I think that all the other games might be pretty close, down to the wire type of situations. So I say Alabama by 6. Alabama minus 5.5 is what I take for the game.
Okay.
Maryland and Florida in the West region. Maryland pulled off just an unbelievable shot to beat Colorado State. The true freshman in Queen, who played high school ball with Cooper Flag, made that game winning shot. Some people said it was a travel. Some people said it wasn't. I saw Gene Steratore weigh in on it. He said it wasn't. Either way, it wasn't called. They're going to the Sweet 16. You also have Angel Reese's younger brother who plays for Maryland and is a dominant force in the paint as well. A very talented team, a lot of Maryland guys on that team, but they're going up against just a beast in Florida. Florida is a high power offense led by, interestingly enough, I saw the stat. So the Florida guard Walter Clayton Jr. The last time he played in the tournament, he played for Iona. Iona was knocked out by UConn. I think that was 2 seasons ago. Now he plays for Florida, and Florida knocks out UConn this past weekend. So he kind of got his revenge. I've seen a lot of comparisons between him and a Steph Curry in terms of his shooting and just dominance in terms of guard play for the Florida Gators. If I got to make a prediction, I say that Florida wins this game, and this is one where I think, to your point, Dub, I said maybe just a Duke game, but this is one where I can see it getting out of hand as well. Florida can put up over 90 points with ease. They just score the ball that well. They play at a fast pace. I've seen them play against teams like Tennessee, who play very, very, very tough defense. One of the best defensive teams in the country, can hold teams under 40 and 50 points in a regular season game. I've seen them push Tennessee to the limit and into the high 80s. Florida's going to score a lot of points. Is Maryland going to be able to score with Florida? Do they have the shooting that Florida has? Not at all. I've got Florida winning this game big. Who do you have, Doug?
I don't even have to add more to that, bro. I think you put a nice bow on that. I got Florida.
We're going to go Arkansas, Texas Tech. This is an interesting matchup. Texas Tech has one of the best players in the country on their roster. Arkansas has one of the best coaches in the country in Calipari. And what he's been able to do, again, bringing a few guys over from Kentucky, but building from the ground up at Arkansas. Earlier in the season, you had Boogie Flynn that was down with the injury. He was out for, I think, 2-3 months. Going back to early January, just came back in the SEC tournament. And it's looking like Arkansas in a very tough SEC maybe doesn't even make it out of the SEC to get to the tournament. It's looking very shaky. I saw them lose, a number of different games, and then they beat Kentucky. And I think it became real for them at that point. And then they knew, hey, we can be special. We just got to go on a run. It's all about peaking at the right time. And this team has been a force to be reckoned with since then. They knocked off mighty St. John's. St. John's had one of the best seasons in recent memory. R.J. Lewis, who is the Big East Player of the Year, was held to 3 of 17, 3 of 19 shooting in the game. Got benched with 5 minutes left. You got Coach Patino putting his best player on the bench with 5 minutes left. That's how ineffective the team was at executing their game plan. Now, no one player makes the team lose, but the team was ineffective at doing what they were supposed to do against Arkansas. So Arkansas has proven itself. They're going up against a tough Texas Tech team. In my mind, I want to roll with Texas Tech to win this game, but I got to go with Calipari, and I got to go with the Razorbacks to pull out yet another upset and head into the Elite Eight. Who do you have, Doug?
Yeah, shout out to Coach John Calipari. Overcoming adversity, leaving Kentucky, just wasn't hitting the mark in Kentucky. He was there for a myriad of years, and it was time for a change of scenery. Went over to Arkansas. They had a rough start. They started off 0-5, and a lot of people was questioning the hire at that point, right? But they had a litany of injuries, as you mentioned before, JT. And with that being said, they're now here in the Sweet 16, and they look primed and ready to go, and they're peaking at the right time, like you just emphasized. Texas Tech, when you look at them matchup-wise, they're better on the boards. At this time of the year, there are really 2 key variables that's going to help determine if you're going to make a deep run, and that's defense and are you crashing the boards. And so Texas Tech does a really great job at crashing the boards. But this is, in my opinion, going to be the most competitive game this week. I think both teams are balanced. I think they match up very well. And I think this game is going to come down to a last-second shot. With that being said, when you balance well, you match up well, that's when coaching trumps all of that stuff. And I have to give it to John Calipari and his Razorbacks. They're going to win this one.
Okay. Yeah. So we align on that one. I think, to your point, it's going to be a very competitive game, very exciting game. Look out for that Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time is going down. Last game on the Thursday slate. We really don't got to do a prediction because you already see what Dub has on. You already see what I got on. You already know how we rocking if you follow our channel. But we got Arizona and Duke. Now, Caleb Love holds a special place in my heart simply because of what he did to Coach K, what he did to us in the Final Four. Coach K's last season. We on a miracle run. We got a chance to end it on a championship note for Coach K. We got to face our arch rival in Carolina. Bitter rivalry, and Caleb Love hits that dagger to end Coach K's career, to send us home, for us to have to live with, in infamy until this point. And now, we're graced with this opportunity to redeem ourselves. Not against Carolina. We already took the broom to Carolina, 3-0 on the season. What else can we say about that? But we get some give back for what Caleb Love did. We get another opportunity to face Caleb Love. He's now with the Arizona Wildcats. I must say, I love watching this Arizona team play basketball. They too play at a high pace, just like Florida. They got a lot of athletic guards. They shoot the ball well, and they're never out of any game that I've watched Arizona play in. Like, they compete. They can be down, 15 points, and they're competing, and they can be right back in the game. They can shoot their way out of it. Again, you got Caleb Love, who's a veteran, who's brought a lot of dynamic guard play to that team, and it looks like it was a good move for him going there. A new burst of energy, and here they are in the Sweet 16. But they running up against a chainsaw. What can we say? National Player of the Year in Cooper Flag. We got Sion James, who is a floor general. I love that addition. To our backcourt. And then, hey man, Tyrese Proctor is playing out of his mind. We can't forget about Slim. We can't forget about Con Knuppel. We can't forget about Caleb Foster coming off the bench. It's too many weapons. It's too many weapons. It's too many shooters. Your shooter for my shooter. However we want to talk about it, it just ain't enough. It's not enough. Listen, it's going down, belt to behind on Arizona this weekend in Newark, New Jersey. I got to be there. You know what I'm saying? I definitely got to be in attendance. So, listen, I got Duke winning, as you already knew. Dub, I got to hear from you.
I mean, although I was impressed by Arizona's performance against Oregon to make it into the Sweet 16, Duke is just too deep, man. We're 10 deep, if not more. And honestly, it's open seasons, man. This is our redemption tour from last year. We stacked. We got a ton of talent. You got, in the likes of Cooper Flag, National Player of the Year, announced on Tuesday. So yeah, man, we playing. We are the team to beat. We're the team to beat, and so I got Duke.
Is this the best Duke team that you've ever seen?
I would say top to bottom, talent wise, yes.
Yeah, this is the best team I've ever seen.
Talent wise, yeah, bro.
This is the best. This might be the best. This is the best college. This is the best Duke team I've ever seen. I don't want to go too far.
Yeah, don't go too far. I win the chip first.
This team is great. This team is great.
But I will say, if Cooper doesn't go pro, I think he should go pro. But if he doesn't, and these recruits that we got coming in next,
we got the Boozer brothers coming in. I can't think of the other kid's name. We got who's like number 2 in the ESPN 100.
It's bad, and I think Slim can do another year. Slim don't need to go nowhere.
Slim is a lottery pick, but I would love to see him come back.
I think Slim need to do another year, man. If he can do another year, and he can fully be like, the team is basically playing through him like Cooper Flag, bro. Like, I think he's more talented than Cooper Flag. If you ask me, I think he's more talented.
No,
I don't know.
I don't even think it's close.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's close in terms of talent. Cooper Flag's bag is deep. His bag is crazy. His bag is crazy. I'm talking about anything that can be in the bag is there. You were just talking about the USA Olympic team and how impressed they were with him coming to play with them. It's not close between Flag and Slim. But good thing for us, we don't gotta choose. They both on our team. So I think Flag is, a couple levels above where Slim is at the moment. But even with that being said, Slim is a lottery pick. He can stretch the floor. He's got better defensively over the course of the season, and he's just got a tenacity about him that you can't pay for that. That chip on his shoulder. Coming out of playing ball in the city, playing public school ball in the city, winning the state championship with North Mac. You can't buy that. So with that, and with the talent that he has, I think he could go lottery. But I would love to see him come back for one more season. I would love that.
I think he needs one more season just to refine a few things.
Sure.
Super talented again. In my humble opinion, I think he's more talented. That's just me. I think he had one more season under like a pro-like training regimen.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put too much size on him. Maybe put a few little pounds on him, man, so he can get a little bit more physical. Man, he's so long, man. I like his game. I like his game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's gonna be a problem. He's gonna be a problem. So we'll see what he decides if he goes ahead and goes. I know we losing Malawak, we losing Canupa, we losing Flag for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrese Proctor as well. So we'll see how it goes, man. But this year has got to be the year, man. We got to get it done. So listen, me and Doug gonna be two sad puppies if this don't happen. But like I said, I feel pretty confident right now. Bouncing to Friday's games. Let's